Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane, and it is the power of 8 at 8, not paranormal frequencies. I do apologize for queuing that up. It's so funny. I went from the short one to the long one and then to the wrong one. So, okay, and back to the right one. How are you, Eileen? Welcome.
I'm good, thank you. Sometimes we are very paranormal here. You know, I'm sure he doesn't mind lending it out occasionally.
No, definitely not. Yeah, we can play, we have orb pictures sometimes.
And ghosts, yeah.
And ghosts, and you get to visit all sorts of extraordinary places.
And like, aliens and UFOs.
Speaking of which.
Yeah.
ECETI. Finally, we've got everything lined up for ECETI. I'm going to do a video tomorrow on it. I've been waiting because they didn't have it ready, and then they were at Contact in the Desert, and they needed some time to play catch up and everything. But everything's good to go now, and I will have a video tomorrow, or you can follow the links, eceti.org, and book that way right now. But it is there to book online, and we're all set. And places that, if you're camping, you don't have to worry about running out of space. There's plenty of camping areas, or probably rentals. I'm not sure, a limited number on that or not. But
I was told seven tents to rent out with
that's
mattresses, and mattresses and pillows and blankets.
So people might want to get on that then if they're flying in. And I figured after the July 4th thing, they'd probably have a whole bunch of stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know. I was like, okay.
It will say sold out, though, once it's sold out, because I noticed the rooms are now saying sold out on some of them because people have snacked them up already. So,
did you look and see if our event is up yet? Your event
that
you planned? It is up?
Yeah, that's the email I sent you was letting you know that it's up there. I sent a link to you just so you know. But, yeah, it's all up there. Some of the rooms are sold out, and there's still plenty available at this point. So, if people want to get on it, and I will get the video out. But if you want to get a jump start on that, you can head on over there and book now, just to ensure that you get a tent if you're flying in, especially because 7 isn't a lot.
No, and then they said you have to have an invite to get in if you're bringing your own tent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so, either way you need to register. You can't.
Yeah, either way you have to register.
It's private property.
They close the gates at 8 for people coming late, but I mean, if somebody's traveled all the way across different states to get there and they get there at 10, I wonder if we can if they can jump the fence. I don't know. We can let them in, or if they have to sleep on that side of the fence.
Like, hey, go keep James busy for a second. No, I'm just teasing.
Poor James, he's probably out there all the time anyway.
Oh yeah, I really appreciate him having this place and having a place for us all to meet at, and super excited about that. So awesome. Thank you, Dustin. I appreciate it. I hope you can make it out. I know.
Yeah, Dustin and Ashley, any chance that I just commented back to you on one of your comments on one of my videos. Is there any chance that you and Ashley can get out there, get some time off work and drive out there? I don't know where he is, though. It might be kind of far.
St. Louis, or St. Louis area there.
Okay, well, it's a distance. It's a good drive.
A little bit closer than I am, but still a pretty good drive. Several states to cross. Yeah.
But you're going to go slow, and you're going to see Suso along the way, aren't you?
Yeah,
are you going to pop in the Silver Dollar Saloon?
Is that what it's called? Yeah, I don't know.
I think so.
Yeah.
Very famous haunted saloon that he manages. Yeah.
Really just depends on money, at this point, if we have to rent a car and drive. I definitely won't be driving my car there. It's like I don't want to get halfway and it conks out.
My goodness, you drove your car though to Sedona and back, and to Austin and back.
Yeah, but not to Sedona this last time. We rented a vehicle. Because,
did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a pretty good rate. It was like $300 or something. And
yeah, for the whole week.
Yeah, for a whole week with unlimited miles, and I was like, you know what? And it burned more gas than my car, which kind of sucked, you know. But
was it like a big, a little SUV? Did it have?
It was a
more
Ford
weight?
Escape. So I went in for like a midsize, or I guess it was. I don't think it's even considered a midsize car, but it was something comfortable. It wasn't, you know, because I'm 6'1", so I can't get too comfortable in one of the economic cars.
Compact car.
A compact car.
Yeah.
So I got there and they're like, well, we don't have any of the size you ordered, which was like the Taurus, Ford Taurus size. You know, it's kind of mid-size. They said, so we're gonna upgrade you for the same price. And I'm
good.
like, wow. So I ended up getting this Ford Escape SUV, and brand new. You know, it was really
Comfy.
Nice. And it turns off. The car would turn off when you stopped.
Yes, I know. My daughter's car stops.
And it starts. And
it freaks you out. You're just
it's like,
oh my God, is it going to start again?
Yeah. But the moment you let off the brake and hit the gas, it's ready to go like that quick. I mean, it's amazing, you know, and it really comes in handy if you're sitting in traffic. It's not sitting there burning gas, you know.
It's true, but to think of buying a car that turns off every time I stop, one of these days you just know, because mechanics aren't perfect, it's just not going to start again. You'll be sitting there with traffic behind you, listening to your radio and going, come on, start. You know,
right.
it can't be foolproof, right?
Yeah, that's what I feel like. And I'm like, man, that has to wear down the battery and the starter way faster. The starter's a big deal, you know.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm on the fence with that one because I'm a bit of an oldie, so I like things that I know. And in the olden days, which was like a couple of years ago, cars didn't turn on and off when you stopped at red lights or stop signs.
And if they did turn off, it was not a good thing.
No, it's not on purpose. It was not a good thing.
That's funny. So yeah, that was pretty cool. So I got to do that, and it was, you know, not putting the miles on your own car is a good idea when you're racking up that many. So I will, if I drive, I will rent something, definitely.
Okay, and I'm going to rent a car at Portland, Oregon Airport and drive in. So I'll kind of like put my arrival time out there, and then people who are going to arrive at the same time who can tell me on my email or your email, I can wait for them and bring them to the ranch so everybody doesn't have to rent a car.
I was trying to find someone for Jane because I know, you know, I told her if I have to drive all the way there, an hour and a half and pick her up, I will. I wouldn't leave her there. But if she can ride with you or someone else that's coming in at that time, that would be awesome.
Actually, I'm coming in around 1 o'clock. So if you're arriving at 11 or 12, you can wait for me. And if you're going to arrive at 2 or 3, you can tell me. I probably wouldn't want to stay there later than 3, though, because I have to travel a long time from Florida. And, you know, so I'm going to want to get on the road and get to Isetti.
Oh, definitely.
You know, wait a few hours, maybe 2 hours.
How long of a flight is that? I mean, with layovers and
it's a lot. It's like, I don't know, something like a 2-hour flight to Atlanta. And then it's like a 6-hour flight to Portland with a break in between, a 1-hour break in between. Big time changes. East Coast, Central, Mountain, Pacific.
Yeah.
So it's flying across the country, basically.
Yeah, you got 2 time zones between yours and East Side time zone.
Yeah. Which gets me there at a really good time. Of course, I have to pay that time back when I fly back to Florida, right? And I arrive at midnight, and I'm like, what?
What happened to the day?
What happened to the day? It's gone.
So you get a couple hours on loan, but you got to pay.
I get a couple hours on loan, interest free. Yep.
Now your sister, you said she's going to drive, or?
Well, she's got so much going on this summer with work, and she said that what she might do is throw her grandson in the car because they love camping, and then drive out.
Oh, perfect.
From the Denver area, yeah.
Yeah, that's not too bad at all then. Yeah,
and they'd have their own tent, so they don't have to book it.
Yeah, that's like the halfway point. Probably for me, or
do you think so? Denver, yeah. Suso's in Leadville. I've been there. It's a cute little mining town.
Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah, Jane's not absolutely sure she's going, but we're still working on something for you. And now that Isetti's open, there's like the option to rent a tent. There's little cabins, you know, to sleep in. It's shelter for the night.
Really cute little cabins, I guess. Communal toilets. Everybody has communal toilets, which is okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and in the Pyramid House, I think we all share one.
Yeah. Now
Yeah,
I
so,
haven't paid for my room yet. Have you? And are we in
yeah.
there? They said that we've got
Well,
a
I went
room for you, but I
online
haven't paid
and
for it yet.
oh, okay, yeah, I went online
I
and paid
guess.
for it, and it says sold out.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
so
Then they
I'm
know
sure
who's
there.
in there. Yeah.
Yeah. And there, I think there's one more room in there that
Did you
has
pay for
that.
yours already?
Yeah, yeah, I did it from the website.
Oh, okay. Because I talked to them and they
You'll
gave me a.
definitely need to talk to them because it
I
won't
did,
be
and they
there
gave
for
me
you
a
if you.
room before they put it online, so they didn't take the money. So I better go in.
Yeah, yeah, and
Otherwise,
then
I
they'll
might get
take care of
pushed out. I might wind up looking for a little cabin somewhere.
that. I got that one because that one has electricity, and I'm going to want to charge my phone so I can keep,
Recording,
recording as
yeah,
much as possible.
for shows,
I don't want
yeah.
to run out. So I'll have several phones. I'll have the laptop and everything I need to charge and empty off the photos and videos so I can fill it up again because
Yep.
I got like 60 gigs on each of the phones that. So I'll be able to zoom in with one, and it's all low tech. And, it's nothing fancy at all. But I want to be able to do what I can do with what I have. So
Okay.
that'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great, and it's going to come up fast. It's
Yeah.
less than 2 months now, isn't it? What is it? No, it's 2 months to the date because
No, that's right.
it's June
Eight
8th.
eight. It's 8/8. Yeah.
Yeah.
So two
Imagine doing
months
a
to the
power
day.
of 8 at 8 on 8/8. How cool would that be?
That is cool. Yeah.
Somebody
And I think
suggested we record it, that we go out there and record it
hmm
to
that
play
would be
later.
that would be really cool to have James if he can sit in and do a meditation because he does great
Oh,
meditations.
yeah. That would be awesome.
And if he's got Wi-Fi that we can tap into, we could actually go live from
We
there and
might be
still
able
have
to
our
go
power of
live
eight
from
at
the
eight.
big meditation room, or is that what it
Wouldn't
is?
that be
The
cool?
communal room? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure wherever he does his broadcast at. I
Yeah,
don't
where he
think that
does
building
his,
has electricity, but
what's it
uh,
called? I listen to it all the time.
oh, his podcast,
Yeah.
East
It's got a
City
funny name.
Star or something. I don't know. It's hard to keep up with all
Yeah,
those.
I know. I just get it by notification so I can pop in then. He had that guy on, what was his name, who was talking about the Sagittarius dwarf galaxy going through the Milky Way. Do you remember him? He has him on quite often. And he has Allison Coe on quite often because she lives
Mm-hmm.
in Portland, doesn't she?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she can just
Absolutely.
drive down.
So yeah. So we got that going on, and I'm sure he's still going to do his broadcast. It's a weekly broadcast, right? And then he's got his newsletter that comes out. They all have sort of a different name. That's why I can't pin down
Yeah, they all have a
which is
different
which.
name. I think it's a Sunday broadcast, isn't it? Is it a Sunday?
Seems like it's the weekend.
Seems
Let's
like
see.
it.
I usually catch it on. I don't catch it live. So does he air it live? I don't. I think it's
I always
pre-recorded
get
then
it
aired.
recorded unless he's got
Right.
like a .com where you listen to it live.
Right,
A
like a
lot of people do
podcast
live
service,
radio on a
and then
podcast.
and then they'll post it on YouTube or something. He might
Yeah,
do that.
I
Yeah, the
bet you. I
ones
bet.
I always catch them after the fact, so they're just
Me too.
pre-recorded.
Me
Yeah.
too. I always get them pre-recorded, which is fine. It feels like it's live. I did read that on the Thursday night, um, and is it the Friday night? We've got the private viewings with James, and then
Yeah, Friday and Saturday.
is
It was
that it?
the 2 day, the middle days, and that's kind of something I didn't know. So I know Michelle and a few other people are staying in Airbnbs and things like that. So it sounds like if they're not staying there on Thursday and Sunday, they won't. It's just for who's staying at the ranch. Is that
It's
how?
for That's what I just read today. That it's
So I
two
guess
days is for people just at the ranch, and then the other 2 days are for everybody,
right.
anybody who wants to come.
So anyone staying in an Airbnb may have to. I mean, you can't even reserve unless they get a tent spot. I guess those 2 nights or something. I guess they could actually pay and share a tent spot just to be there into the
Yeah,
late
or
hours and
talk
then
to
head back.
to James when they arrive, and
Right,
say that they're staying nearby because there's no room, it's sold out, and
right.
if they're part of the group, so can they stay with the group?
Yeah, I'm sure we can work something out.
Flexibility, right?
Yeah. It's
Cool.
probably more for because typically these weekends are open to anyone, so and it's still like that. We didn't like reserve it just for us, even though they
No.
put our name on the schedule so you guys can find it easily. It does say unbiased and on the fence on the events thing, but anyone's welcome that is
So is
registered.
Michelle Wolf coming?
Yes, Michelle Wolf is coming, and she's coming with Travis and a
Awesome.
few other people. Yeah,
That's really cool. I'm glad I'll get to meet her
yeah,
in
that'd be
person.
awesome.
Yeah.
But they're staying off-site, so Which we thought we all were staying off-site.
We all thought we were staying off-site. I had a 6-person cabin until today, and I had up until today to cancel it and get my money back. So that's what I did. After they told me I would get a room in the Pyramid guest house, but they didn't take my credit card. So now I'm a little worried if it's sold out, that one person said, oh yeah, we got a room for you. And by the time I go in to pay for it, they're going to go, nope, and I'll have to go find a cabin.
Well, they have those, what they call yurts as well.
Yes.
So I don't know how many of them they have, but they do have several things there. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be perfectly suited for our group, I think, because we're probably going to have, I don't know, what, 50 people? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm guessing, you know, at the last minute, it could be anything from 30 to 60, like an extra 10 might show up, or maybe a few won't go for, you know, personal reasons. They planned on it, they wanted to go, but something with work came up, or family. So it's kind of hard, maybe 40, something in the middle.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, though, because we could actually do, probably not the Friday night live stream. I'll probably go ahead and pre-air, you know,
air something that you've.
But with, I mean, James being there, that would be. With James being there on Saturday, if we could do something, you know, if he can get us connected to the internet, because I think he does a show from there, so we might be able to go live from there. I'll have the laptop, and that'd be awesome. And then have him lead the meditation. That could be like a double whammy. We'll just have him join us for the, you know, the Saturday night Power Day.
We can even do an extra small show if he just wants to come in, chat, and do a meditation instead of our normal hour-long chit-chat.
Right.
Because he might want to get back outside, and he uses his little lasers to circle the starships or UFOs, and without pointing it at their eyes. Like, you know, I was listening to some of his videos. He's like, just put a circle around them. Don't like stab them with the laser. It's rude.
Imagine it would be sort of rude. Yeah.
I mean, because, you know, they have eyes too, right? We're not supposed to do that to pilots of any craft.
Let's see.
I mean, even if 20 people showed up, it would be awesome. I mean, that's a big group for camping.
Yeah, you're right, Megan. That's what we were just talking about, is that Thursday and Sunday are for the people staying at the campground between Thursday and Sunday. But we'll see what we can do about that for anyone that can't get in there and they're having to stay off site, you know, then maybe we can see if it'll work something out. So I really don't know. I haven't talked to them about it. I hate to make any promises at this point. But.
Yeah, it's really hard to know until you get out there and talk to them. See how many show up, see how many are around ECETI in the private cabins.
Yeah.
And then you have a number, and you can say the 10 people are part of our group, but because space was limited, they booked outside of the group. Is there any way they can pay a donation and come in and do the group stuff?
Yeah, and another important point to make, because some people, since it's from the 8th through the 11th, people don't consider that you're actually leaving out the morning of the 12th if you want. If you're camping there and you want to stay until Monday morning, you can actually stay there and have that Sunday night. So a lot of people are actually, you're leaving out Sunday. A lot of people are leaving out
I'm
Sunday.
Leaving like 9 a.m. Sunday because I interpreted it the 8th through the 11th.
Right.
So I was going to get like a late flight, but there were none. So I just took an afternoon flight. And actually that just works for me. So I'm sure for other people who are out there longer, they can leave on Monday. So some people will be leaving on Sunday. Some people will be leaving on Monday.
Exactly. And you have till noon, I think he says it's all on the website, but you have till noon to pack up and head out. So for those who want to have that last night there to, you know, see the stars and the ships and all that stuff, you know, but he'll be out there with the stuff on Friday and Saturday. The night everybody can get in is when he has the equipment out there. So
that's super.
So you won't miss anything.
You won't miss anything. Everybody will get something. And apparently I've been looking into it a bit more. What is it? Mount Adams is the name of the mountain. Yeah. I wonder if it'll still have snow this late in the season in August, or do you think the snow will be gone? Because sometimes you see a lot of snow on it.
Yeah, the ones, I know the Continental Divide in Colorado where we stay there, it had snow in it all year round. I mean, you could go up there in your shorts and have snowball fights. It was
so maybe it has, I don't think you can really get to the mountain because there's a lot of wilderness around it. It's pretty scrubby. You probably can, but, you know, you'd have to have the right shoes and the right
hiking.
Yeah, it's hiking.
Yeah,
And
in Colorado we could drive, so we
yeah,
actually took the
exactly.
winding road up there. It's kind of scary, but you get up there and you can stop at the pile of snow and
Yeah, you
go
don't have to
somewhere.
hike there and hike up, like a
Exactly.
true mountain man. But I understand that it is for a very, very long time kind of a hub of activity day and night, every day, every night. It's like they think they live in there. They think that
Yeah.
that is like, a center inside and
There was this
underneath.
video that came out. It's on the eStudy YouTube channel, but I guess it was like I think December of 2016 is when this video is out. If you want to like look back and find it, but it's a daytime video, and it looks like the top of the mountain opens up, and there's a black void there, like
Oh, I
doors
gotta go
open,
find that
and a
one.
ship shoots out of
Oh,
it.
I want to find that
It
one.
looks like it opens up like some,
Yeah, like
Batman, like the Bat Cave
me,
opens up,
and then it's open. Yeah, the
and then
mountain
shoo,
opens.
you see UFOs. It's really neat.
I got to see that because December 2016 was when there was the first little bit of MSM disclosure. Do you remember? We were talking about that.
Yeah.
Fox News and a couple of the East Coast newspapers were running information on the secret Air Force UAP
Hmm.
program. So that was
It's
a big one.
interesting.
That's
It's
interesting.
it's nice to know that if you look up UAP, you'll get a whole different assortment of results from
Then
UFO.
UFOs. Maybe that's why they renamed it UAP to kind of give it a new start.
Yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I don't know. It definitely got renamed by the officials. It wasn't renamed by the people. The people
Yeah.
still call it a UFO.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's
But
the same way with other things. They'll switch up the terminology just to
yeah,
sort of.
suddenly, and you're like, who
Yeah.
thought of that? Why did they switch it? It's interesting. They
Yeah.
have a reason. They have their reasons. I am doing a Wednesday night live stream. You're going to be so proud of me. My first live streams, 2 in a row, at 8 p.m. Like our
Hmm.
power of 8. Only people in our community to come and chat about their contact. And I'm only doing it
Oh,
up
is that?
until ESETI. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw Jean on there. Is she coming to ESETI?
No, she's not coming to ESETI, but it was so
Mm.
lovely chatting with her about her
Yeah, she's
contact
awesome.
experiences.
Hmm.
And I spoke to Dan, and they're not going to come. And he had more of the consciousness experiences that's in that book where they kind of mix it all together. Contacting guides, ghosts, dead
Right.
loved ones, that kind of consciousness communication gets mixed in with the extraterrestrial contact.
Yeah.
I'm still working on that. I'm still not 100% comfortable with that idea. Are you?
Mm,
Yeah.
I understand their reasoning for doing it,
Yeah.
but
I do
no,
too.
I think I would have kept it separate. To be honest
Yeah.
with you,
Me
I
too. It's
would have
how I
kept it
feel.
separate. Yeah.
I feel like ET consciousness is a step closer to us in our physical realm
Yeah.
than dead loved ones and Jesus and Buddha and Mary and
Exactly.
Krishna and all those. I feel like there's different levels of consciousness, and that the ET consciousness is much closer to our physical reality. Do you
Yeah,
kind
that's
of feel the
exactly how
same?
I feel too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like it would be served better separately. I don't know how much that played a role in changing the percentages, though. Do you think it's really played a big role in what, because we talked about it was overwhelmingly positive. Is that because they were sort of put together? Because, if someone sees Buddha or Jesus, it is typically a positive,
Yeah.
but then
Yeah.
again, another trend that you see when you look at the numbers is that typically people have both types, right?
Why they put them together. The interviewed 5,000 people only responded to their ET contacts for the study.
Hmm.
And then as they're interviewing them, they're sharing their contact with dead loved ones, with ghosts, with spirit guides, with Buddha and Jesus and all that. And that's why they lumped it together,
Oh
because the
yeah, because
contactees are
it was
talking about it.
it was kind of an after the fact thing, like,
It
well,
was
we
after
need
the
some
fact.
category for all this data we're collecting,
Yeah.
so I guess we'll stick it together. It's all tied to consciousness on some level or another.
It's all
So
consciousness. Yep. Communication. That's how it
yeah,
happened. It came out of the study.
well, that makes sense.
It
As long as
does.
it wasn't done, a lot of times stuff like that's done to sort of tilt the numbers in your favor. You know what I mean? Like to make it the UFO contactee to look more positive, you just lump it with a bunch of positive Jesus type interactions, and then
interacting with your spirit guides, that would be positive too. So yeah, it's skewing the numbers, which, you know, no numbers are completely accurate. They say they can always get whatever they want out of numbers, right?
But it would still be positive though, even if they just put the abductees or contactees in the physical sense, which would really narrow down the amount of people.
Positive, 84% positive on the contact side. And 50-50, 51% only were contacted by ETs mentally, and 49% were contacted physically and mentally. So it's split right down the middle.
Which is a huge surprise to me, because I always figured it was a physical, in-person contact.
100%. I was like 100% of the time they come,
which is how yours was.
They beam you up, and then they talk to you through your mind. I'm with you. I was shocked by that statistic.
That's really strange,
isn't it? Unless that statistic is also including the times that those people contacted dead loved ones and ghosts and Jesus and Buddha, because of course that wouldn't be physical, would it? And I don't know, because I've read half the book, and it's lots and lots of numbers, but they don't always tell you exactly what those numbers include.
It would be hard to please everyone with that.
Yes, it would. It really, pardon me, it really would. And it just shows you have to go after everything with an open mind, and in the end of the day, judge it with your own heart and your own stomach, the other brains inside of you, right? Or they said the gut is a brain, the heart is a brain, and the brain is a brain, because they're actually finding cellular tissues of the brain inside these other places. Have you followed those studies at all, that research about the different brains in the body?
Yeah, the brain cells that are in other organs.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it is really fascinating. Yeah,
really fascinating. So if you guys ever want to come and talk from our community about contact before a SETI, please shoot me an email. Or if you shoot it to Shane, he'll send it right on to me.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think I've got Ronnie on Wednesday, and possibly Michelle from Michelle's Opinions the week after.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get Dustin on.
I've been trying to get Dustin on. I've been trying to get Dustin on for a while, but we'll see what happens.
He said he might talk to me about he's got some experiences. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to hear him.
So, and anybody else out there, you're all included.
So, yeah, it's cool with me if you go on there and talk. I just want to hear the experience, Dustin. Don't feel like you owe me a favor or anything. Just get it out there.
Yeah, I figure like we're all on the same team.
Yeah.
With the event with Michelle, Paranormal Frequencies with Sherry, Love Stream with everybody, and me with Power of the Eight. We're all the team. We're all the community. And if they can sit down with me in an evening and chat for an hour about their ET experiences, it goes back to the community. You know?
Yeah. And it's easier to, might be easier to come out of the, come out in public if it's a little bit smaller and setting,
I've got
right?
2,200 subscribers, so I'm still in that comfy small category.
Right.
And most of them, not 100%, but most of them are subscribed to Unbiased and On the Fence. You're not surprised, are you?
Right. It's just a lot of our family goes over there.
A lot of our family goes over there, and it's so rare for me to do a video now. I might put up a video a month,
But it's good. I love meeting other people in the community, and this is just another way, because I can only do so much. So I appreciate all that you're doing.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd really want to sit down every Wednesday night with a dedicated hour of talking contact.
I mean, it would be cool, but if you're doing it, I'm more power to you. That's awesome.
I would say come in and join, but me putting 2 people on Hangouts, maybe I could do that. I've got one, thanks to Michelle's opinion. I can put 1 person on Hangouts, but I bet you I could do 2. So if you want to come on a Wednesday night at 8 o'clock and just talk contact, it's all about.
Oh, I'll watch from the sidelines. I watched Jean. It was awesome to see her.
Oh, okay. But if you want to jump in, please do. Just tell me. I probably just send you the link, right?
Okay.
If you ever want to jump in.
I appreciate that. I actually like being in the audience, though, to be honest with you. Just enjoying it.
Friday audience. And this Friday, I fell asleep. Occasionally, depending on how much I work during the week, I just, I make it to Friday night, 8 o'clock, and I'm zonked out. And so this time, I put it on at bedtime, like at 2 in the morning. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to listen to it. And then when I woke up, I realized I'd missed the last 30 minutes. So I hope whatever you were saying was good for my subconscious mind to hear, because it's very trusting to sleep to people while they're talking, right?
Oh, you probably fall asleep during the Wingmaker segment, right?
Perfect.
It probably got you.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah, I love the Wingmaker stuff. And I love it because I can hop in there and just chat for a little bit, you know. Like,
Love the
"Hey,
music. I love the Wingmakers music. I love their artwork.
Yeah.
I like the mystery around the creator of Wingmakers. It's all super cool.
I wish I could find that guy. It's like he just went back to his own planet or something.
Possibly, yeah, dimension,
Yeah,
portal.
we did. April saying we needed a Wednesday night, and we sure did because, you know, Wednesday, I don't do anything.
It's
I
hump
don't,
day, isn't it?
yeah.
Thanks, April. April, you got contact? I have her email. Come on if you want to talk about contact.
Absolutely.
It's
Yeah, as
just,
many people as possible, especially before ESETI,
yep,
because that's
yep. Our
such an
community is
exciting
full
topic.
of people who have had, contact experiences with orbs,
Hmm.
experience with seeing ghosts or dead loved ones, meeting
Yeah.
spirit guides, loads in our community. Literally could be in that book. And
Yeah.
many are.
Yeah, I was, I think when you had Gene on, I was actually driving, so I couldn't have hopped in there anyway, but it was good to
That's
listen to it.
perfect to listen to
Yeah.
while you're driving.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
guys are going to have me and you and Sherry are going to have Ronnie and me and possibly Diane.
Yeah, I sent her an invite. She's thinking about it, so
And I
she
met
knows
another
about it.
woman in the book at another channel, but I don't have her email, so I can't reach out to her because you don't always get people's emails, do you?
No.
When you're chatting with them on somebody else's channel.
And it's hard to connect them sometimes too because they'll have one name, one real
Yep.
name, and then an email that doesn't match either of the other two. So sometimes I've got three ways of remembering a single person. You know?
Yeah, didn't I think in the beginning that your name was really Crob?
Yeah.
Because you sent me an email with Crob in it, and I'm like, oh, it's Shane Crob.
Well, it actually is. It was auto-generated from Gmail, from Google, because my name is Shane C. Robinson. So it put my middle initial and then the first three letters of my last name, which
And made
created
you Shane
Crob.
Crob.
And I became Shane Crob. But I'm Shane C. Robinson, just so you guys know. Shane Cornell
Yeah,
Robinson.
Cornell. Shane
Cornell.
Cornell. Yeah.
Yeah, like the university. No, I'm actually Central Time. We just lined this up for Eileen's East Coast time. It's kind of like New York time, East Coast. So we just, I'm actually Central Time. So it's 7:44
Yep.
for me right
We
now.
kind of got used to that, didn't we? At first, it used to really throw all of us. Power
Yeah.
of 8 at 8, power of 8 at 7, power of 8 at 6 in Mountain Time, and power 8 at 5 on the West
Pacific.
Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't believe that we're on at 5 in the evening. It sounds like, not even the day is over yet. You're not even sitting down to dinner yet.
Yeah, it was really weird for me because, when we were in Sedona, I had put on the pre-recorded stuff so you guys still have a place to come and chat or whatever. And I'm like, we're getting back. It's like, it feels like it's still like early evening. And I look and I get my own notification. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just went live already. It's like, it didn't
And it's
feel late
5
enough.
o'clock. Here, it's
Yeah.
6 o'clock, right? Were you what was it in Austin?
Yeah.
6 or 5?
It was 2 hours difference. So I
Okay.
guess, I guess depending on the whole daylight savings time, it's either they're with Colorado time or with California time. So Arizona's on their own thing. They don't observe daylight savings.
It really
at all.
should be the whole country does daylight savings or the whole country doesn't, because the time thing is going to get really weird for people who live across the borders, right?
Oh yeah,
It's going to be really strange.
yeah. That is real weird with Arizona too, because you can cross into New Mexico and you've gained 2 hours. It just doesn't feel right.
And I'm all good with getting rid of it. I'm okay with just going
Yeah.
with the way the sun goes,
Yeah, me
and
too.
not messing around with time.
Yeah, because that's one of those things where it was more important back, Well, I guess they're still farmers, but still they don't have to like adjust themselves to the time. They can still do things how they want. You know what I mean? It's not like, they can have their own individual farms daylight savings time if they need
Yeah, they can.
extra hours in the day or something.
Yeah, or was it somebody said farms and kids standing out at bus stops in the dark? If we don't change the time, is
Oh
it
yeah,
dark much later? Is that it? It doesn't get light till 8 instead of 7?
that's a good question because I used to think because the time would change right before Halloween, it would get darker earlier,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
thought They did that for Halloween. So we could start trick-or-treating earlier. It makes sense.
Did it for Halloween.
The children's logic.
That is a perfect child's logic. That makes total sense. They had to change the time for the whole country for Halloween.
For trick-or-treating. How sweet of them.
Oh, that is so cute. Well, did you want to show that little video and have a little chat about it before we do a meditation?
Yeah, let me do that. I'll switch to...
Hey, you guys, it's only a minute and a half.
I'm going to share my screen. And then I do have the full version. Let me see if I can stretch this to...
See, I put that on my channel, but I didn't make it public. I did it by link only for Shane to play it for you.
I'm trying to see how I can get this bigger without... Oh, you know what I should have done is...
It looks pretty clear, though, considering it's going from screen to screen. It's not bad.
Let me... Well, see, they see less than you, so I'm trying to get it... Or I just hit full screen, but let me see.
And then there's a delay, so you have to tell me I'm playing the video so I don't talk over it.
Yeah, so the delay, you're seeing it real time right now. So I will play this right now. I'm going to go ahead and mute myself.
Me too.
Now, every time the droplet lands on the surface, it creates a wave. But this is a special type of wave, driven by the vibration of the oil bath. It is a standing wave, meaning that it's not traveling out, it's just oscillating up and down. So the droplet makes the wave, and then it interacts with that wave on its next bounce. If the drop lands on one side of the wave, it is pushed forwards. And as long as the bounce of the droplet remains synchronized with the wave, it'll keep landing on the front side of the wave and getting pushed farther forwards. Droplets like these are known as walkers. The pilot wave goes through both slits, interfering with itself, while the droplet only goes through one slit. The droplet doesn't move in a straight line, though. It's deflected by its interaction with the wave. The resulting distribution of where the droplets end up looks very similar to quantum double-slit interference patterns, proposed by de Broglie nearly 100 years ago in the early days of quantum mechanics. He postulated that all particles have a wave that accompanies them and guides their motion, and that wave is actually created by tiny oscillations of the particle. Now, this pilot wave theory was marginalized when the standard Copenhagen interpretation became widely adopted. In this case, the pilot wave goes through both slits, but the droplet only goes through one. The droplet is pushed around by its interaction with the wave so that the resulting statistical distribution is the same. The droplet never exists in two places at once, and there's no randomness. If there is any uncertainty, it's just due to our ignorance of what's going on. It's not that it doesn't exist.
That is pretty interesting, isn't it? Now, why do you think it's interesting? I want to get your feedback before I start talking about it. Exactly. And I'm wondering, are people going to get that when they see this?
That was so profound, you guys missed it.
Oh, it was profound. You're going to have to say it again. Okay. So why is that interesting to you?
Because it takes the randomness out of it, it takes the probability out of it, and it makes it to where it's saying that we don't understand what we're seeing, but it's not non-understandable. I mean, we can understand it, we just aren't able to understand it. So it takes the randomness out of it, and from what because we're told that anything's possible when you're not looking. It's just probability. And then as soon as you collapse it, and you take a closer look, then it changes. But this kind of takes that whole idea out of it.
Completely.
Yeah.
So when I watched it, I was like amazed. Did you feel kind of amazed watching that?
It's definitely mind expanding. I don't know that I agree with it because
the way they came to it was that's water and oil that produces the walkers. And the de Broglie guy, I'm probably murdering his name, proposed this 100 years ago when they were saying the Copenhagen result, that a particle is, and they were only studying electrons. And then they just said, well, if it applies to electrons, let's make it apply to particles and photons and neutrons and everything else. But they only studied electrons. And they said, The Copenhagen study says that a particle or an electron can be a wave or a particle.
But we see there it was both.
But there we see how a particle can create a constant wave. If you take a particle and you move it through space, if the space is not empty and has something substance, that movement can actually cause waves. The movement of a particle, like pretend like you're dropping a rock in a pond.
Right.
Okay.
Or when we skip a rock across a pond.
Yeah,
because it makes waves, it skips, it makes waves, it skips, it makes waves, and then all of those 3 different skips, waves, all begin to interact with one another.
Yeah, so are we saying that the rock is the waves and the waves is the rock? No, we go the rock makes the waves in the pond. And the Copenhagen study says the particle is the wave and the wave is the particle. And this guy 100 years ago said not necessarily. He can't prove it 100%, you know, but he said not necessarily, because the particle, by moving it and shooting it at a wall with 2 slits, is creating the waves, the movement.
But it's only going through one of them.
But it's only going through one of them, but the waves are going through both, because the particles' waves are like the rock in the water. They're spreading out.
I love the theory. It's just when I try to, in my mind, transfer it over to quantum mechanics, that's when I begin to run into problems or issues with it. If we think about like Cynthia Sue Larson talking about the Xenome effect, I think she called it, right? How would you tie that in with this theory?
Well, the whole video is from Veritasium, and you're going to put a link in there. And
there is a link to the full video.
7 minutes, and I didn't want to steal the whole video, so I only did 1.5 minutes. But at the end of it, he says, this particle creating a wave as it moves is solving a lot of quantum issues, because they have difficulty with a lot of quantum theories in understanding how they actually physically occur. They just say, "Oh, you just got like either a bug or a
yeah, I've got a little gnat flying around.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna say, is that
right
an
in front of my
orb that just
camera?
flew over your shoulders? A little bug. Give him a name. He's in the show tonight. Yeah, he said it actually solves some of the issues that they can't bring together in quantum theory. But then, of course, the video stops and doesn't tell you which issues those are. So the Xenome effect.
Just the whole idea of like a Mandela effect can't change while you're looking at it. It's you have to look away, or for those who don't see a Mandela effect because they're too close to it, it's like they don't look away long enough. So
okay, then we got a time issue, because if you've got your child next to you 24/7, you don't see them growing. And the grandparent who comes once a year goes, "Oh my God, you've changed." And the parent's like, "Oh, okay, I guess so." But they're so close to it, they can't see it.
Yeah.
We can't see minute change unless we stop looking at it long enough to let it keep minutely changing and then look at it and see the big changes, right? Maybe that's quantum theory. Maybe quantum theory is really weird because we're looking at the big changes and we're not looking at the moment by moment by moment by moment changes.
There was a study that ties in perfectly with the way our eyes and our brains work. And what they did was they took this image that just had a bunch of random stuff on it, and then they took the image away completely, gave you a black screen, and put the image right back like a second later and changed something about it. Like took an item out of it, right? And nobody could, you can't see what happens. They didn't
catch it, did they?
No, but if they leave it up there their entire time and then remove the item, your eyes immediately go to what item got removed or added or changed or whatever, and you see it.
Tell me that again in terms of subliminal messaging.
Right.
When we've got subliminal messaging, how come our minds aren't seeing that? Because the flash is too fast?
Right, it's like just going right in there without any sort of filter on. So mixing a word in, you know, they've done it on Disney with the stars creating words or something along those lines.
So that proves that they do believe that our subconscious mind is listening and paying attention. Or they wouldn't bother with subliminals, would they? But we don't see it because it's too fast. Again, it's a time issue. Yeah. So my question is, if that's true, if the walkers are real and it's the particle being moved that causes a wave, like a rock into a river or a pond, and the particle is a particle still, and the particle is not the wave, it's creating the wave.
Right.
Okay, what the heck made the particle? Because we all assume with the Copenhagen study that the particle is a process of collapsing the wave. We observe the wave, boom, we collapse it into a particle. But if that particle's always there creating the wave, then it didn't come from the wave, it creates the wave. Now we've turned science on its head and we've got to figure out what the heck created the particle.
Exactly.
How did it come into being?
And why is it that if we're not looking at it, we only really observe the waves? And if we are looking at it, then all of a sudden we're like, oh, there's a rock skipping across it, or, you know, a particle.
But if you watch the whole video for 7 minutes, he explains that you are seeing both, but you're not understanding what you're seeing. You're seeing a particle, and it's moving so fast at the speed of light that you're not seeing the waves that it creates. So I'm like mind blown. I'm like, okay, opening my mind just a little bit further. It's like every time I look into scientific fact, I find out it's science fiction. Yeah. I did that with black holes. I did that with dark matter. I did that with antimatter, and possibly even the God particle, the boson Higgs particle from CERN. All of that is science fiction so far. It's all theoretical. There's no proof of any of it. You know?
Absolutely. I agree with that. And that's what, like, the D wave.
I was like, I had this all figured out.
Right. But then you realize, like, you know, the D-Wave guy gets on there and he goes, it's like our computer's like reaching into another dimension. And of course, all the Mandela effect people jumped right on that because it sounds like, oh, well, if you're reaching in and grabbing something out of this dimension and pulling it out, who's to say that you didn't mess up a logo by doing that, or
and
make
of course,
some kind of little
Richard
change?
Boston told us that that's where the demons live. So if you're going to reach into that dimension, how do you know you're not going to pull a demon out?
Right, or while the doorway's open, a few aren't going to jump through into our reality. But here's the thing. They don't really understand quantum mechanics or how their quantum computer even works. They've just come up with some theories. Well, maybe it's reaching into an alternate dimension and pulling that information out. That is all so theoretical. It's a
theory. The God particle is a theory. And I looked further into it, and what they're doing in the Hadron Collider is they're smashing particles at such great speeds, which is why it has to be underground and it has to go super fast. So they need a lot of space, like 27 miles or something. Don't quote me, something like that, right?
Right.
And they're taking a picture of it. At the moment of impact, when that particle gets sent at the speed of light, 27 miles in a circle to a wall, boom, they take a picture like a kid on a ride going down into the splashy part, and everybody's going, ah, that's the God particle. It's that moment that that particle explodes.
And more importantly, they show how it appears that some of the particles of that collision, or molecules, I don't know, whatever you call them, disappear, others reappear, like as if they disappeared into another dimension, and some reappear.
Twinkle. Yeah. In slow motion, right? And it goes super fast.
They don't know what's really happening.
No. So watch. I don't know if these people know, because now I'm saying watch something and maybe they don't know. Maybe nobody knows. Maybe we know more in this community than they know in the science communities. I mean, even Cynthia said that. She said, because you guys are so open-minded and you look at everything and you discuss everything and you read everything, you might know more than
we don't have to try to fit it into
We
don't have to try to fit it into a pre-existing theory, which a lot of times it's like they're trying to prove the theory right rather than digging deeper to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it's like, we believe this is true. Now let's go prove it. Let's go prove it. And if reality kind of knocks you around a little bit and says, no, it's not working, ignore that. Ignore the part that doesn't go along with your theory, right? So have you watched Thunderbolt's project, The Electric Universe? It's actually electromagnetic, but it's on YouTube, and it's about five or six scientists, and they totally disagree with all known science right now, and they're completely following Tesla science, and others like Tesla that we've never heard their names, who also believed that this is an electromagnetic universe, and everything is a wave of electromagnetic energy, whether it's a particle or a wave. It's all plasma. It's all electrified magnetism. And if they do experiments where they slow it down and it behaves like a wave, and then they speed it up and it behaves like a particle. It's all the same thing, the plasma. And they showed how black holes don't even have to exist. if you've got plasmoid toroidal fields. They call it a plasmoid, Plasmoid. It makes it, when you take a picture of it from a satellite, it looks like a black hole, but what it is it's actually a torus field, and there's so much energy coming out the bottom and the top that it gives the appearance of blackness in the middle. But it's not.
It's like gobbling up all the light.
Yeah.
But it's not.
But it's not. It's not like you're going to be sucked into a vacuum of nothingness. There is something there. You just can't see it. So everybody's going, well, you can't see it. It's black. It must be a hole. It must suck you in and never let you out. And they're like, no, that's, we can recreate plasma experiments in the lab that will show you how toroidal fields are made. And then what happens is when you've got all these toroidal fields in a place, like the lab or the universe, the energy they throw out is electromagnetic, which causes compression. You know how you can't put two magnets together?
Right.
That creates the gravity. There is no gravity. You don't need dark matter, because like the problem with dark matter and antimatter is they've never seen it and they can't measure it. They theorized it exists to explain why the planets are held up, why people don't go flying off of Earth. They invented antimatter and said, well, for every molecule of real matter, there must be X amount of black, invisible, dark matter, antimatter, to hold it all together.
And it really comes down to them having that formula of how they're trying to figure something out, and they know they need some number here to make the math work out. And they're like, well, let's just call this dark matter for now, because we don't know what the heck it is. We just know that if we put this number in here, stuff starts to work out.
It starts to work out. But they can't measure it and they can't see it. So if you follow the electric universe, which is the electromagnetic universe, but they always call it the electric universe for some reason. It's all Tesla. It's all that amazing science that was squashed.
And that's Thunderbolt project, you thought?
Thunderbolt projects. And if you look at Wal Thornhill's plasmoid versus black hole, he'll actually show you how, plasma and magnetism allows for space travel. It allows for interdimensional travel. It allows for everything that we talk about on this show, because the actual fact of compressing matter and creating a toroidal field, of which, by the way, is never-ending cold fusion. It's never-ending energy. A toroidal field always goes. It never stops it because it feeds itself. And then suddenly you don't need dark matter and you don't need antimatter, because it creates those gravitational pressures that we need for matter to be, existing and separate. Because they go like, well, why doesn't this cup just like meld into that microphone? Something's holding it apart. That must be dark matter, invisible, right? No, it's all, the more science I learn and then the more investigations I look to see where the proof is, I never find the proof.
There's not. It's all theoretical.
Yeah.
Almost down to even gravity, they don't know how it works.
Yeah. The gravity, they found a soft gravity within like Earth, so that if you drop an apple, it won't float up. But they can't find large gravity outside of Earth. Because it's a weak field. It's a very weak field. If it was a strong field, you would drop an apple and it would go to the center of the Earth. That would be a strong force field. Gravity is very weak.
Right, very true. Yeah, we'd be pancakes on the ground.
Yeah, we'd be pancakes. We'd be in a 2D reality, which is maybe what we came out of. Maybe we were smashed pancakes on the ground in 2D, right? And we evolved to 3D and we popped out.
And now we're like, 5D, let's go.
Let's go 5D. Poor 4D is time. And now I'm saying people go, no, time is not the fourth dimension. There is a fourth dimension. I'm like, okay, that I don't get. Because I've always heard that time is the fourth dimension and we need to push up to 5D. But Ra, law of one, calls it fourth density. He does not negate the fourth dimension, does he?
No, and I think there's a difference there. I think a lot of times people lump it together. And if you're dealing in a 3D environment, to know where anyone is, you've got to have the X, Y, and Z coordinates. But you got to know when they're going to be at that point. So you can know where somebody's going to be, but if they're moving around, then you got to have time. So we can meet at Starbucks, but if you don't know what time, then chances are we're probably not going to be there at the same time. So that's
But
why it's
Ross says time is part of 3D. He doesn't say time is the fourth density. He says, no, there's a
Exactly.
fourth dimension. And
Right.
time just exists on 3D. Well, doesn't time exist in 2D? If you're flat, you still need to move around.
Right.
So you'd need time in a flat world to get from point A to point B. So there could be time in a 2D world.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine a 1D world. Can you? That boggles my mind. I can't imagine living in 1D.
They're telling me I'm MK Ultra here. I'm stuck.
Are you frozen? Me? Am I
For
frozen?
them. No, you're good. I'm good on yours, but I'm not good for them. So I'm just in deep thought, you guys. Sorry. Here,
Oh
I
my
can
gosh.
fix that really fast.
Anyway, I
Okay.
get really excited when we get to talk about science. And I thought I had all this figured out, studied all that quantum physics for decades, and now I'm back to square one. Yeah, I don't know anything anymore.
Well, it's funny because they don't know anything. So you realize that you based everything off of their not knowing anything up to this point.
They kind of presented it like they knew. You know, they really presented it with flair and authority.
Yeah.
So I just was like, oh, I'm going to believe that, and I'm going to believe that, and I'm going to believe that.
And that's really how, like, you know, even the way the sun works and stuff, there's so much that, you know, we have no idea about any of that, you know? It's all
But there's
theoretical.
an echelon of humanity that likes to pretend like it knows. And it likes the authority. It likes feeling like it knows more than everybody else. And that's
Yeah.
what's coming crumbling down now. It's crashing down now. Because us people who used to just kind of take what they knew as gospel are now looking into it and going, really? You mean you just made that up and that's possibly not true?
Right.
Hmm.
And then think about, like, how it stockpiles. So you've got one bad theory, then you start building more theories on top of those and more on
Yes.
top of those, and pretty soon you've got some stuff that's so far from scientifically true that
That's what the project, Thunderbolts project, says about CERN. They said particle sciences are so far from the truth now that there's nowhere left for them to go, because they didn't follow Tesla. They didn't follow plasma. Instead, they threw that away. They grabbed the information, they locked it up, and they followed particle science, which is the standard model. And, you know, you cannot look at just the end result of something to understand the beginning and what created it. You got to go back up and study consciousness, study plasma, you know, everything that some of those scientists that we never even heard about in like 1840s to 1920s, they all got silenced.
And I think a lot of the problem is people trying to investigate something from the level that it's at instead of sort of taking that higher view of it. I mean, it sounds like the Thunderbolt group has kind of sort of cleared the chalkboard, cleared the table, and say, let's start fresh. That's how the Mandela effect did me. I mean, I had to go back.
Yeah,
and, like,
they did. But they started with
erase the
Tesla.
chalkboard.
They started with what he figured out. And they said, well, let's pretend like none of that other science happened. And let's take it from the science of plasma and the science of electricity. And what do they call it? 0 point electricity? Because Tesla could like hold up a light bulb and he could get the electricity out of the air for free.
Mm-hmm.
That's where they started.
And that's where they really silenced them back then. So they're really picking up his work.
Yeah.
here.
I mean,
Half a
is it
century
possible
later.
that we're all like completely scientifically stupid because of money? Because then at 1910, they wanted to sell electricity a certain way to make it the most profitable for a couple of families, rather than build the technology that sucks the free electricity out of the air.
Yeah.
Right? They could still make the money on the technology that sucks out the electricity. It's not like
Yeah.
we'd all make our own. I'm not going to make my own.
Or like it wouldn't wear out once you bought the device, like it would just run forever. I'm sure it would need maintenance. It would need replaced
Yeah.
after a while. And just like computers, they would constantly get better. You want to upgrade to get more power, more free energy. You know what I mean? There would
Think
be,
about it. You own the machine. You don't own the electricity. The electricity's free. It's in the air. So
right.
maybe that's why they did that. Because if you do it the way they did it, with what, AC/DC current, you
Yeah.
own the electricity. You have to pay to get the light. If
Yeah.
it's in the air, you know, you don't necessarily have to buy their machines to get it out. But if you own the electricity, then you do.
Right.
It's like owning the sun.
same thing with petroleum. So it's like the same thing over and over again.
Well, I'm wondering about the cognizant dissonance in the human mind that doesn't call the governments on this, because on one hand, they're producing the petroleum energy and they're selling it to us and they're taxing it really high. And on the other hand, they're saying you humans are heating up the planet by using the energy we're providing you with. So why hasn't anybody thrown it back in their face and said, well, give us something else? You know, give us solar panels, give us wind, give us water energy, give us clean energy. So, you know, on one hand, humans are only allowed to buy fossil fuel energy, and then they're made to feel bad to use it. But that's all that's out there. You know?
When you think of any rate of technology increasing and getting better over time, when you look at the gasoline engine and how far it's come from the very beginnings to now, it's not really that far. I mean, we've been more economical with it, but when you think of how far computers have come since the 90s,
yes.
You know, and that we've got these little handheld devices that are faster than 5 of those original computers put into this little handheld device.
And how far has our gas pedal come from Henry Ford to us today, you know? Not very far, except for turning off at red lights. That's kind of new. But yeah, it's interesting that people aren't calling people on, well, hey, I'll use clean energy when you make it available to me at a price I can afford. You know, because they went and put a huge tax in Florida on solar panels. Now, how stupid is that? Every single company and house could run on solar panels in Florida because there's so much sunshine. But
I think they would incentivize it the other way, like get a tax break by, you know, they do that, don't they? They're like, here, if you get energy efficient windows, you get a tax break. You get solar panels, you get a, you know why?
You're taking the money away from the electric power generating companies. So you can go solar, but you have to pay through the teeth for it. It's interesting.
It is interesting.
I saw a special on TV the other night. It was like, I don't know, I can even like record bits of it on my phone to play for us. And it was about a documentary that in the 1970s, one man figured out how to make a safer cigarette. He didn't say a safe cigarette. He meant a tobacco safer cigarette. And he'd gotten it down to where the purity of the smoking was, you know, minimal. It'd be like growing your tobacco leaves, drying them out in the sun, crunching them on paper, clean paper, not paper full of chlorine and chloride and formaldehyde, you know, clean paper, clean sun-baked tobacco, and smoking that. And he was just ready. He had a patent. He, you know, spent a fortune on it, just ready to release the safer cigarette in 1975. And the government backed the other companies from completely knocking him out by not giving him FDA approval, not allowing him to sell it. And the documentary looked into it and said, our cigarette manufacturers and the government that played ball with this, that evil that they want people to suffer while they smoke from untold diseases. And they said, no, it really wasn't that diabolical. It was that if you allow a company to come out and go, look, this is a safe cigarette. The fact that it exists means that all those cigarettes sold before for 100 years were unsafe. And they were afraid of the litigation, the legal precedents that it would set against them if a safe cigarette came out.
And I think that right there is the very reason why we'll never see the type of disclosure that we like to see. Because in order to get that, they're going to have to admit to all of those lies. And if they lied about that, are they lying to us now? So disclosure is already happening among our community.
Yeah,
people are coming out.
Don't you think it's like it's happened? And we're doing it without the government, and the government goes, hang on a minute. We haven't disclosed, and now they're rushing. They're like speeding up, trying to catch up with disclosure.
To become relevant again, because they're becoming really irrelevant at this point.
For disclosure. They are completely. They lied for 70 years. So we're not going to go, oh, you agree now, so I can really believe it? You know, no. They've kind of lost their credibility on UFO, even if they call it a UAP. You know, they've lost their credibility.
Very true.
But,
did we have any topics for tonight?
Yeah, but just on the end of that, disclosure news is heavy now in MSM. Have you noticed that? I don't really watch a lot of MSM, but if you take a look through YouTube, you're going to see ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, CNN, all talking about disclosure now. So the government's rushing. It's running to catch up with us so it can say, see, we disclosed UFOs and aliens, but we're like, no, you didn't.
Yeah, and I'm like with Allison Coe on that one. She's like, yeah, they released this government footage. It looks horrible. I mean, you can totally get something better captured on a cell phone, which we've seen. So,
Yeah.
are we really going to look to their old, quote unquote, infrared camera footage of something that could be,
No.
you know,
And
flashlights?
when I put down in comments, I'm like, they're a day late and $1 short on disclosure. It's done. We've done it. We've done it without you.
Now there's so many cameras around. If people can just take a moment and instead of looking at your phone down here, hold it up and start
I
recording. some
love
stuff.
those phone videos. Like, see, I'd rather see a really scratchy, shaky phone video than a secure Team 10 CGI'd spaceship, you know? I like the reality. I like the real person talking in a language I can't even understand, you know?
Yeah, but you can understand the emotions.
The emotions, they get so excited.
Yeah.
And then, you know, people put in the comments, hold your hand steady. What's wrong with you? And I've done it. When you stretch out the screen and you're super magnified, it's super hard to hold it steady.
Oh yeah, it's impossible.
It's
basically,
hard.
you know? Especially if you're excited and you're like, oh my God, look at that. I mean, you could be as still as possible, but the slightest little movement makes such a huge difference when it's zoomed in. It's almost better to just zoom out and then zoom in on the footage later, because that won't be as shaky. Because all those phones do is digitally zoom anyway. So it's the same as if you record it and you don't zoom in and then put it in post-processing and zoom in that way. At least it won't be as shaky. Cause
it won't be shaky. See, I have
image stabilization
GPK do the zooming in for me.
Yeah.
Because when I zoom in, it's shaky because any little tremor looks like a big, you know, because you're so zoomed in. It just magnifies the movement.
So just so people know, if you see something, it's great to zoom in sometimes, but just leave it out because we can zoom in after the fact, and it's the same thing. It's a digital zoom. It's just basically making it bigger. It's not an optical.
Any shaking.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. I will do that. I'll remember that. We didn't really have a topic, except last week you and I came up with a topic post-show, didn't we?
Let's see. Yeah, it was a good one too. What was it?
I remember it. We were talking about how a lot of us are getting hit hard on YouTube with what's it called? The algorithm. The algorithms are really we're gone. We're out of the algorithm.
I remember now.
If we talk truth and it doesn't feed a higher up agenda, we are not put forward in requested or promoted videos.
I'm down to like 40 something subscribers a month.
Yeah, I'm down to 3 or 4 from 100 a month. I'll get 3, 4.
Yeah, I was at 600 to 1,000 at some times.
I was at 100.
To get down to 40 a month, and then you look at the little line and you can see where you gain some and you lose some every day. Now, sure, people probably get bored and unsubscribe.
Yep, and then Google announced this week, but they announced it in the Netherlands. How smart is that? I think it's the Netherlands, one of those European countries. Google announced that YouTube is going to start a new phase of removing channels that contain fake news. And that may include the Mandela effect. If YouTube and Google decide that the Mandela effect is fake and it's not real, then our channels are gone because we still left our videos up. So a lot of people now are deleting all their videos and they literally will just leave a new video up for a week or two. And that seems to satisfy the community because they're still there, they're still commenting, still liking, but there's no archived videos to get your channel taken down. So, interesting.
And that's so vague, you know, fake news. Whatever they deem as fake.
Could be the Mandela effect. They could classify any video on the ME as fake.
Yeah.
Not real in their category. They're you know.
And then we'll get back to people's opinions and subjective reality and truth rather than objective, right? It would
kind of turn YouTube back into what it was in the beginning with like a bunch of teenagers watching teenagers say stupid things on their cameras. Do you remember that? The early days of YouTube?
It's still there. It's, believe it or not, millions of views for that stuff.
Yeah, and that's what it was. It was basically people turning their phone on and going, hi, can you see me? I got nothing to say today, but hey, I made this dinner. Or, you know,
Yeah.
I'm going to put some eyeliner on for you.
Let me show you how to put my eyeliner on. So yeah, that was one of the things we discussed, that it seems that we haven't worried about the subscriber counts. We haven't worried about people finding us. People tend to find us synchronistically, and we don't worry. And we haven't even asked for help.
We have not asked for help.
From our guides, our angels, God, the
anyone.
Holy Spirit, whoever you want to pray to or whatever. But we haven't asked for help. So we thought, why not do an intention to help people connect with our group that should be with our group? We don't need the algorithm, because I'd rather not have who YouTube sends here anyway. I'd rather have who our higher ups, our spirit guides and people like that, can find our like-minded individuals to come and find us, and just to put that intention out there to make us.
Because we've never asked, and it's asking you should receive. So if we don't ask, we're not going to receive that help. They're not going to just go, let's just go help these tiny little people on YouTube connect. Right,
and it's not even just about us. We're talking about any type of channel or group, or it can even be in other social media or in real life. It doesn't have to be.
It could be about health. It could be somebody, it could be about any topic where there's a genuine, heartfelt outreach for connection or helping people.
And that really leads to unity, ultimately.
Unity, yeah.
So it's sort of a unity meditation, but that will be found synchronistically, and more and more will add to our numbers that want to find us, that are lonely and looking for a group like this.
They can find us, so that we're not hidden from view when they're really trying to connect with other people of a like mind.
And even Carrie Camp, she's a cancer survivor, and I'm like, there's got to be other cancer survivors that are trying to make a difference in this system. I've done some Google searches. I can't find any kind of groups like that, but I know that if people of like mind could get together, cancer survivors that want to make a change in the healthcare system, if they could find each other, they'd be able to do so much more as a group than individually. Because if you'd see all the research she's done by herself, I'm like, oh my God, this is so much.
My sister too, on all health topics, the research that she has done. And she either has to start her own channel and start putting it out, or she's got to find channels of like minds.
Yeah. So that's really what we were wanting to do for this whole thing. I love it because I think it's more connectedness, more unity. That's really what we need ultimately to make this world a better place anyway. So
spiritual promotion, asking our guides, our spirit guides and our angels and our archangels, and asking God, asking source energy to help us find each other and connect. It's not about numbers. It's not about growing. I love my little channel of 2,200. It's a great number. It's not about numbers. It's about people out there not being able to find other people that think like them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love it. I think it's a great topic.
So we're going to ask, because ask and you shall receive. And if you don't ask, you don't receive. You got to ask. That's the number one rule.
Absolutely.
Cool.
So I think that's a good one. We're going to have a moment of silence, or 3 minutes in this one, right?
Definitely. I'll just do that every week, because that's the Lynne McTaggart way.
Okay. I'm going to kill my camera. And
I can't see the chat. It says we still have 55 in the room. Hello, 55 wonderful people who did find us.
Oh, mine says 65.
Oh, wow. Mine's not updated, is it? Hello, 65 wonderful people who did find each other. Because what's happening in the chat is often much more important than anything happening on this screen. I've learned that. And I'm fine with it. I really am. I love reading the chat. It's so fun for me at night to go back and catch up with what you're all saying. Okay, so you're ahead of me. You already did your little icon, man. There we go. I'm going to have a little drink of water.
All righty.
Sorry to put you guys through that every time. I should probably do it on silence. Okay, so get good and comfy. Okay, so, move around a little bit and make sure that you're sitting in a position that feels good, that you can remain in for about 10 to 12 minutes. Okay, and it looks like, Shane, if you can come back on. It looks like my charger's not charging, and it's plugged in, but it looks like you guys are going to lose me. Yeah. It says 22% remaining. Would that get us through? Will it get us through to the end? But I don't know why it's not charging, because the charger's in and the charger's in the wall. So there's no. Must be at the wall. I must have lost power at my normal regular outlet that I use. Sure, if you guys don't mind waiting, you want to chat with people and come back on. So, okay. I'll just go silent.
She's going to switch the plug. I forgot I was muted, so you guys didn't hear my suggestion. But yeah, she's going to switch the plug and see if she can get her battery going to her laptop so it doesn't run out in the middle of the meditation. 22% we'd probably be all right, but some stuff really starts to shut stuff down at like 15%, 10%. So it could start dumping essential things like the internet or something. Okay. Let's see. You see 55 people in the room? I'm showing 57 now, but you know, of course there's a delay, so I guess by the time you hear this, it could be different. Funny. Yeah, I think the numbers are kind of wonky on all. I mean, sometimes you'll see more thumbs up than you do views, and you're like, how did that happen? You know, so I think there's always something strange going on with that. Are you back?
I'm back, but the whole outlet appears to be out, and I can't reach for another outlet like in the kitchen or something. So I'll just start this, and hopefully we'll get to the end. And if not, you guys know how to end it.
Okay.
Grounding cord go and start to stretch, drink a glass of water.
Okay.
Cool. Okay, so everybody get comfortable again. We won't worry about me disappearing. Might happen, might not. And just take a nice, deep, relaxing breath in and let it fill the bottom of your lungs. Let your tummy extend a little bit. And exhale. And then go ahead and take, when you're ready, another deep breath in. Really fill up your lungs that oxygenates your body. And exhale. And when you're ready, take a third deep breath in. And this time, while you're holding it, let it collect up any tension anywhere in your body. And exhale that tension out on the exhale. And now you're just going to take nice, comfortable breaths in through your heart and out of your heart. And do that at a pace that is comfortable for you. Breathe in through your heart chakra, and when you're ready, exhale back out through your heart chakra. And now is when we start to draw in a beautiful, clear, crystalline light on the in-breath through your heart, and then let that fill up your whole body, and exhale that light back out of your heart. You can make it any color. Breathe it in. Let it fill you up from the top of your head, down to your fingertips, down to your toes, and exhale that light back out. And often that light is extremely calming, relaxing, and healing. Consider that light that you're drawing in through your heart and circulating through your body and your aura, your etheric body. Exhale it out. It's kind of cleansing your body. Your etheric body, which is your thinking body, your astral body, which is your emotional body. Let that light just come in and fill up at least 3 levels of your own personal body. Clear it and clean it, energize it, heal it, and exhale that light back out. And now go ahead, if you want to, send a grounding cord down from your root chakra at the base of your spine, all the way down through the building, all the way down through the various different levels and layers of the earth, to the center of the earth, the core, the heart of the earth. And once you reach the center, let it spread out in all directions, grounding you securely here. And if you like, go ahead and breathe a bubble of light, whatever color you are breathing in tonight, and let that bubble of light surround you. And that's protecting you. That's keeping your energy separate from everybody else's energy, as we all imagine that we're sitting in a circle and we're all holding hands, really connecting. And once we connect, we're going to imagine doing something that we love. Whatever it is you like to do in your free time that you love doing, and you do as much of it as possible, either alone or with somebody. It could be a hobby. It could even be your work. It could be healing others. It could be laughing and being with others. It could be artwork. It could be gardening. It could be a sport. Whatever it is that really makes you feel good, imagine yourself doing that right now. That part of the meditation gets your heart into coherence with your mind. And now we're all going to imagine together that the people on YouTube, that we know so many of them, and there's a lot more that we don't know, the people on YouTube who are genuinely working from their heart center to help others. It could be in spirituality, it could be in health, it could be in helping them figure things out, like technology. It could be anything, as long as it's heart-centered and the intention is to help others. We're going to ask that the powers around us in the universe, be they spirit guides, be they just our higher selves, be they angels, archangels, and God, or source energy if you prefer, that they all conspire together right now, right here, to help those people who are genuinely interested in helping others through YouTube, through Twitter, through Facebook, Instagram, social media, online, on the internet, that they receive the connections to other people who need them, and that the people who need that information are drawn to them. We're asking for an angelic marketing campaign, if you will, that will help people who have been marginalized and put on the side because maybe their information is a little too true and a little too helpful. Maybe the information is too self-empowering. It might be about replacing certain drugs with certain herbs and other natural, non-toxic remedies. And maybe that's being marginalized as well. Let's ask for a very strong spiritual marketing, publicity, and public relations team to help us connect, help us find each other, and also help us as individuals to find the people and the information that we need when we need it, every time. That's the other side of this. It is very much a back and forth reciprocal communication. It's give and it's take, and it's take and it's give. And let's just have 3 minutes of silent intention so that you can really get into it and really feel it and see it and imagine it happening right here, right now. Okay, and before we come back fully, let's just give thanks and gratitude to each other for having found each other, and for Shane for having brought us together into this amazing community where we can at least share with each other what we know and have contact with like-minded people so that we can really relate in a heart-to-heart way. And when information is needed, it's provided. We get it because we have each other. So when you're ready, just let that grounding cord go, release it, let it go back into the earth and disappear, and start to move around a little bit, slowly. Kind of move your shoulders and your neck a bit, your arms, your shoulders, and come back.
That was beautiful. It was easy for me to totally imagine that because I hear it all the time. You know, I hear people say, you know, I just happened to come across your video and all of this. So I just amplified what I've already experienced in my mind to just see it happening a lot more, you know, people finding us and finding other people and just making those connections because it is really a cool thing to see people coming together. You know?
Yeah, it is. And it's so supportive. I mean, I forget that there are people out there who don't have a family member to talk about this stuff with.
Yeah, it can be very lonely.
And I've got my sister and I've always had her, and I've got my daughter and I had my husband, and I could talk about this stuff day and night, all day long if I wanted, and not feel judged, you know?
Yeah.
And yet there's people I'm bumping into their videos and they're saying, I have no one to talk to. And they're talking to this screen, and I feel like reaching through the screen and going, I'm listening to you.
That's why I think it's great what you're doing with people coming out with their stories, because it's been such a taboo subject for so long to talk about any contact experience. So those who came in late, you can either get a hold of Eileen, or if you can't get a hold of her, if you send me an email, I can forward it to her. If you've had any kind of ET contact or experiences.
Just ET experience. We're really not going into ghosts and orbs and things. We're just talking in our community and sharing our stories with each other between now and ESETI. We got 2 months.
That's awesome. 2 months exactly before the 8/8 portal. So I'm really looking forward to it.
8/8 portal, the Lions portal, where we will be in the portal meditating together. So really, we need to do a meditation on the night we arrive, because that is the 8th.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we can't miss that.
And actually, you know, the 9th, the day after that Friday, is Angela Gabrielle's son who passed away, Christopher, his birthday.
I just got chills. I didn't.
Oh, yeah. Me too.
Oh, so, Angela.
Isn't that awesome? So we got to, he actually brought us together. His, you know, his little, the walkie-talkie thing was going crazy when we first contacted each other, and he was giving her all these signs, and then I had her on and got his story out there. So I'm really excited to spend that special day with her. You know, here it is, you know, 2 years later, I guess, you know. So
I'm excited to actually meet up. For some reason, I thought Angela lived in like Australia. She's in Canada, right?
Yeah, in Canada.
Oh, put her in Australia with Nicola Simpson for some reason.
In the future.
Yeah, I was
like,
she's coming far for ESETI.
Absolutely. Yeah. Is anybody coming from Europe yet? That would be awesome.
I wish. I asked Diane, and she can't make it. That's okay. You know.
I want to see if Gosha can make it.
Yes. And what about John Binney? I've asked him to come. He's tempting. You know, he's saying, "Oh, I'd love to come from Scotland."
Yeah.
Bring my guitar.
I think he's got a business trip here planned anyway at some point. So maybe he can. I don't know if it coincides with that, but that would be awesome. Even if he could spend a day with us, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see who shows up and from where, and that's going to be fun. See, you'll all know who I am because you see me, and I will not necessarily know what you look like unless you've done a video, right?
That's how it was when I got to Austin. I met Diane, and I'm like, who's Diane? I'm like, oh, I've spent hours on the phone talking to her, and then it's like I didn't even know what she looked like. You know what I mean?
But I've seen videos of a lot of people, so I've got a little help there because I do watch our community videos. Biker Babe's coming.
Yeah.
I met Biker Babe years ago on Unirock's. I call him Unirock's channel, where I met you and Dead GPK. Yeah. So I was first into the truther community before I got into the Mandela Effect community and got into the spiritual community. So that's my transition.
That's beautiful. Yeah, but it's like those rungs that we all got to go through. That's why I say each rung is so important now. I mean, you can look back and say, well, I moved beyond that, but some people haven't. So it's like still an important, rung on the ladder to move upward and onward.
Yeah, and some of us stayed together in a group as we moved through. I think Metal Rabbit might have been over at Uni Rock in the early days.
Yeah.
I still love his channel when he does a really interesting video, you know, like when he was doing the 666 building and Keck, the frog. It kind of reminded me of Aaron Affected Collective type videos too. Just really bizarre but fascinating, interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I guess, what are you looking like on? You're probably running out of juice real fast, right?
Well, I stretched the cord as far as I could, and it looks like I'm getting some energy now.
Okay.
But it took until the meditation started for the little green light to come on, so it was probably so out of electricity that I didn't think I was getting any when I moved the cord. And then when we started the meditation, the little green light came on.
Well, awesome.
So, or I had intervention. Something is charging my computer right now, and it started. The little green light came up right as soon as we started the meditation.
Divine energy. I love it.
Divine intervention and divine energy, divine marketing.
Got to be careful with that word. It knocked us off one time saying energy. Remember that?
What did we say? Which word?
You used the word energy, and then it.
Oh yeah, it was like bygone energy.
We've had a lot of fun times here.
We have.
I'm going to have the eStudy video up soon, so if you guys haven't gone over there and registered and reserved your place or booked or whatever, I will walk you through it in the next video. And but it's all open now, so you can go to the events page. You can see it on the calendar finally. Cool. And so, yeah, really excited. Lots of love to you guys, and we'll see you next week, Eileen.
Peace.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Peace, everybody. If you'd like to support the work I do, go to paypal.me/UOTF. Thanks.